a variety of games, most of which are horror or platformers, but I do basically everything. And on my couch, we have Katlink, if she wants to introduce herself.
Hi, I absolutely adore this game. It is one of my first PC games I've ever played when I got my first PC, so I love this game to death. But I'm here to big chill and support my girl, so yeah, hi.
Alrighty, so we are gonna start. Time will begin on first movement. So we're gonna load in here and I will count down in just a second. Like I said, this is a puzzle platformer game, has like a dark French noir style to it. It's a really neat game. We are gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is actually a little death abuse here. We're gonna jump off the building, and that allows us to move inside of the cutscene that we're supposed to be locked in. But unfortunately, we're gonna abandon Dee Dee.
Oh, okay, bye, Dee Dee.
It's my favorite game called Avoid the Child. Because she will just continuously talk to us and be like, hey, do your shadow trick. And I do not want to do shadow tricks. I am not a jester.
Hey, do your shadow trick.
No. We're going to do some out of bounds. We're going to break physics. Generally going to be a pretty quick run, I would say. We're already a third through the first act. Because we skipped through an entire sequence of requirements to get to this area. Right now, we are actually going to hit a trigger. For some reason, you cannot pass through this area without hitting certain triggers. So one of them was that one, and then the other one is going to be chair jump.
Oh, the classic chair.
Yeah, it is quite the difficult jump, only because the chairs themselves have an invisible wall behind them, so you have to like swoop around and hope that you don't get caught on them. And we got the second trigger. That allows us to get dash. Dash is very helpful here. It allows us to hit triggers way off in the distance like that. You're going to be seeing a lot of out of bounds stuff that is not loaded in. And just very quick cutscene skips. Yeah, and then we're gonna break into the theater. We can go through the theater normally, however,
You're saying we're just gonna skip that entirely?
Break in and entering, there we go.
Oh, I love that.
Just phasing through walls here.
Why not? Just say hello, we're just coming in.
Exactly. I got stuck on the wall.
You know, sometimes you break and enter and you get stuck in a wall. It's okay, we're shadows.
Oh, well, there we go. Sometimes you can get stuck in walls because the physics of the shadows themselves are a little bit weird when you phase into the walls. So luckily we can break out and we are heading over to the hotel. There's a lot happening all at once.
Yeah.
So,
the tricks in this game are very complex in themselves. Like there's just a lot going in all at once, as you can see, with death triggers and just all sorts of things. But this game in itself is just, as you can see, it's just very broken. It takes a lot longer than you would think. It's about a 3 to 4 hour playthrough, but there's just, yes, you can see, it's got many holes.
Here we're kind of going to be cutting that time down to about 18 minutes or so.
Which is wild.
Yeah. So this is the last section of Act 1.
Normally you would do a shadow puzzle here with platforming, so you would use the shadow to jump onto things and to jump on top of shadows, as you see. Which is a lot of this game. A lot of the game is you use your shadows to jump and do platforming. But of course you don't see a good amount of that. But it's still cool to see how broken this game can get.
There we go.
And how fast you can get from point A to point B, which I think is fascinating personally.
Yeah, for this particular section, you actually have to move all of the chandeliers and climb all the way to the top of the hotel in order to get up to that little section there. However, we just kind of bypassed it by climbing onto the shadows, and we're in Act 2.
Easy.
So I would say that Act 2 is actually the harder of the acts. There's 3 of them total. Act 2 is going to be a little bit different. I showcased this 3 years ago, and there's going to be the blind section again, but there's also going to be a new skip that we're going to be trying out. Yeah, it's actually really neat. So we have to go to the circus tent. Again, we're going to ignore DD because, again, favorite game. Got to play the game.
We're playing the game? What?
Yeah,
We're just doing our shadow trick.
Just do our shadow trick. Yeah, she's just going to keep talking to us. And she's like, hey, you could do all these things. You could, become a shadow on the wall. And pass through all of these shadows. And we just kind of jumped over all of them.
Bye, Dee Dee.
Oh, so the one mechanic that I didn't explain is there is something called a dash jump. Dash jumps are a little bit complicated, where you can jump, you could dash, and then you could do another jump that is right after. You have to hit the jump button at the very, very end of your dash, but it has to be within a certain frame. Otherwise, Dawn is not going to make that second jump. This is Butter Tree. You can kind of see why I call it Butter Tree. It is slippery, and it is not cooperating with me.
Very, very slippery tree here.
This is one of the hardest tricks of the game, only because, there we go.
Oh, there it is, there it is.
Yeah. When you do that trick, unfortunately, if you have to reset it, the game will lag, and it will eat your dash or your jump. So you have to kind of know how the game works in order to do that little manipulation there. And this is the pirate ship.
Ooh, I remember I loved this section. This section was very, very cool.
Yeah, this is the most memorable spot of contrast, I think, because it is very, very different.
It's a quite unique artistic section with how they use the pirate ship and all the things around it, especially with the shadows and everything along with it.
Oh, for sure. One thing that I'm doing here as well is when you pick up objects, Dawn is kind of locked in this walking animation. You can hit shift on the keyboard, which will allow her to run with an object in hand. This is not bound to controller for whatever reason. It's only on keyboard, so I do have to use multiple inputs in order to make Dawn faster. And here is where the new skip is going to be. It's a little finicky. We will see what happens. I would say that this is now the newest, hardest trick in contrast.
Oh, another new hard trick. Oh, boy.
I think we got it. We got it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that was found very, very recently by the new world record holder. Their name starts with a B. I don't want to botch it, unfortunately. But they found this, and I give credit to them. They know who they are. They're actually the French restreamer right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So as you can see, Dawn isn't looking too good. You can't really see her. This is part 1 of the blind section where you can see kind of where you're going. And you just kind of have to listen to very specific things. There are ramps that I have to climb up.
Okay.
In order to get to that trigger that's all the way at the top. There is something that I also didn't explain because this is just such a fast run. At certain points, you will see me zip up walls. I'm using a specific patch of the game in order to do that. So if you are holding an object and you're close enough to the wall, the game is like, hey, you're in the wall. You're not supposed to be in the wall. We're going to boot you out, but it boots you upward instead.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah. So now this is the blind section where I'm listening to specific footsteps to see where I am. I think we got it.
Parfait.
Oh.
Je savais que le problème était facile à régler. On dirait que
Oh.
tout ce qu'il faut faire, c'est tirer les leviers au même moment.
Shut up, Didi. Thank you, Didi.
Yeah, she's gonna be a little weird. Hold on one second.
Oh.
That's not it.
It's around here somewhere. We'll get it.
It's trying. I think I'm stuck on something that I cannot see, unfortunately.
Obviously, void walking can be very difficult to navigate since
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going. It's all off of audio cues right now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be quiet.
There's the other side. Yeah, I figured this would happen.
It's okay. We all get a little lost in the void
prête?
sometimes.
There we go. Oh,
Hey!
yeah.
There we go. Good job.
Thanks. It's just such an awkward thing because there isn't really anything that you
It's
can see
hard.
at
You're
all.
walking in the void. You don't see anything. You're like, where am I?
Just forced into the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we are going to do a weird thing here. Normally you're supposed to have 3 repaired attractions. We did one of them earlier. One of them was the hot air balloon. Oh, cool, first try. And then the second one was the pirate ship. The third attraction that we could do is the puppet show. However, when you save, not save, when you reload to checkpoint, for some reason the game is like, hey, you haven't done the hot air balloon. Do that. And you're like, okay, so you can do it twice. And you don't have to do the puppet show. However, you can't do it a third time. The game caps out there for some reason.
It's just like, no. You've had enough puppet show today. Stop
That would
it.
make this too easy.
Yeah.
No, thanks. All right, so we're in Act 3. Yeah, we are almost done with the run. Act 3 is pretty simple. It's just a lot of platforming, some out of bounds.
Just a
And
few
some,
little tricky tricks here and there.
Yeah, some neat little tricks.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit dark. Let's see.
There we go. A little up and up.
There is a quicker way to do the little out of bounds here up here, but it's much harder because there's a lot more that can go wrong. There we go, and then I'm gonna do a new out of bounds, also by the new world record holder. They've done a lot of stuff, and I appreciate the effort that they put into this little game. Very neat game. Let's see if I could fix this, which I should be able to. Yep, there we go.
So is there a lot of invisible walls you have to combat while you're going out of bounds? Like,
Oh yeah, there's
so is that why you're like dashing into a lot of things and it's gonna okay.
yeah, and I'm actually using some of those invisible walls to kind of project myself upward.
Oh yes, of course.
So that I can climb upward. Because with the flat roofs that you see, you can actually fall through them. So I'm trying to avoid that because that
Not
is,
to get into that, yeah.
yeah, that is a reset there. So avoiding that as much as I can.
That's fair, honestly. Oh,
Yeah.
Didi, bye Didi.
Yeah, again, avoid the child. She'll be fine out there.
She can figure it out.
So the last thing that we need to do here is shine a light on the stage. We're going to climb the lighthouse. We're going to bypass all of the puzzles. Again, we are not here to entertain. We are here to just break physics. We're halfway through the lighthouse now. There's a huge puzzle down there where you use the spotlights to drag over boxes. The same thing kind of happens here in the casual run, but yeah, we're just gonna fly on through. Let's see.
Would you say we have time for one donation?
We can do 1 or 2.
Yeah.
All right. We have $20 from Nico with a C. Hi, y'all. I'm coming up on almost 24 hours of uptime, but I had to watch this amazing run because y'all are amazing people. Thank you kindly for being you. Less than 3.
Nice.
We have $50 from Artifice. When I played Contrast, it was one of the most novel concepts I'd seen. I didn't exactly have a ton of gaming experience, but still, I've never seen a speedrun of it, but I can only imagine what one might look like. Bid goes towards Zelda 100% upgrade.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So as you can see, Nally's using a lot of shadows, and there's a lot of story and lore behind this. That is actually quite dark.
Oh yeah, it is not happy at all.
It is not a happy ending.
It sorta ends happy, but it's just like, oh, you know the truth now. This is sad.
The truth is quite tragic. And also, probably to clarify, the game is in French due to the French language being a bit faster for the game. There are certain areas where she needs to stop, and of course the talking goes on, so French is just generally faster for it. As well as the game is produced by a Canada Montreal company, Katlink Games, that is also French.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fitting.
And we're actually at the end of the run. I will call time in just a few seconds.
We're already there. Oh my goodness.
We are.
Hi, Dee Dee. Bye, Dee Dee.
Hi, bye. See ya. And time will be called when it fades to black. Time.
My goodness. That was amazing. You did really, really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just quick little shout outs here. Thank you, Kat, for being on my couch. You are amazing. Thank you, GDQ and GDQ Tech. You guys are also amazing. And thank you, Compulsion Games. This was actually their very first game that they made. They also made We Happy Few, and they have a new game coming out maybe late this year, next year. We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, that was Contrast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.